Lightning ripped the sky above Aeloria the night the Starforge Crown exploded. That was 3 months ago, long enough for memories to twist into legend and for the once mighty kingdom to crumble. Farms burned in the east. In the west, warlords squabbled over empty thrones. Rumors whispered down ruined cobblestone. If you find a shard of the crown, your destiny will change forever. At the ragged edge of the kingdom, on a wind-blown hillside, 17-year-old Tomlin wrestled a creaking plow through muddy earth. His calloused hands shook with exhaustion, but something strange kept him upright, a faint, humming warmth deep beneath the soil. He'd felt it for days. Suddenly, the plow hit stone. A bright, unnatural blue caught the dying sunlight. Tomlin blinked, heart pounding, and scraped away dirt to reveal a jagged piece of crystal pulsing with otherworldly light. "Could it be?" he whispered, brushing trembling fingers over the shard's surface. A voice behind him grunted, "That's not yours, boy." Tomlin jerked around. A figure stood at the fence line, cloak battered, sword rusted but deadly. Sir Aldrich, the kingdom's most infamous knight turned outcast, watched the farmhand with wary eyes. "I found it," Tomlin insisted, stepping between the knight and the shard. A quick, sly shape darted from the shadows, a girl in patched leathers, a dagger glinting at her hip and a crooked grin on her lips. "And if it's worth fighting over, maybe it's worth stealing," she purred, eyeing both men with mischief. "Name's Mira." The air thickened. Sir Aldrich's fingers twitched on his sword hilt. Mira's eyes flicked to Tomlin, weighing his chances. Before anyone could speak, the ground shuddered violently. A fissure cracked open, swallowing wheat and soil as a deep voice, echoing and unnatural, rolled from the abyss. "Return what was shattered, or all you know will fade." Fear gripped Tomlin. For the first time, he realized the world was watching, a world eager to consume them whole. Drawing a shaky breath, he clutched the glowing shard, turned to his unlikely companions, and said, "If this thing matters as much as I think it does, we'd better start running." Together, knight, thief, and farmhand bolted into the night, shadows chasing, destiny nipping at their heels. Night cloaked the wildlands as Tomlin, Mira, and Sir Aldrich stumbled through thickets, their breath fast from fear and flight. Leaves whispered secrets overhead. The echo of the abyss's threat still rang in their ears. They stopped to rest beside a brook, moonlight catching the blue crystal shard in Tomlin's hand. Aldrich broke the tense silence, his voice gravelly and sharp. "You two have no idea what you're caught up in. That shard will draw every bandit lord and warlock in Aeloria right to us." Mira snorted, smoothing her tangled hair. "It'll draw treasure, too. Besides, haven't seen you refuse a quest, Sir Outcast. Or are you here for glory or guilt?" Aldrich's jaw tightened. "I'm here to make sure that crown doesn't end up in cursed hands again." Tomlin watched them both, mind racing. "You think there are more shards?" Aldrich nodded. 7, scattered across forbidden lands, each one a beacon. Alone they're dangerous. Together they can stop the darkness seeping over Aeloria. Mira tossed a twig into the stream. "Let's say we find them. What's to say you don't betray us? You knights aren't exactly famed for mercy." Aldrich's gaze softened. For a flicker of a moment, sorrow lined his eyes. "I was the Queen's blade once. I failed her, but I won't fail again. If saving the crown saves us all, I'll do anything it takes, even trust a thief." They lapsed into uneasy silence. Tomlin stared at the shard, feeling the pulsing warmth lick his palm. Power, but not just power. Responsibility. Suddenly a wolf's howl ripped the night, closer than it should have been. Tomlin scrambled to his feet, clutching the crystal. Across the water, shapes moved, crouched figures, eyes reflecting amber green. Bandits drawn by the shard's light. Mira slid her dagger free, voice low and teasing. "Guess the knight wants a little more excitement. Stick close, farm boy. Stick close and stay quiet." Aldrich raised his sword, rusty but ready. Back to back. If they want the shard, make them bleed for it. Pressing together, the unlikely heroes braced for their first fight, a test beneath moon and claws where survival was far from guaranteed. Night pressed in as the bandits broke from the brush, 6 of them rag-wrapped and hungry-eyed, blades catching the moon. The lead bandit grinned, flashing broken teeth. "Hand over the glowstone, and maybe we'll let you limp away." Tomlin's heart hammered. Mira slid in front of him, stance wide, dagger glinting. "Careful," she sang. "This farm boy bites." Aldrich's sword gleamed as he stepped forward. "You want the crown's shard? You'll have to get past both of us." The standoff snapped. The first bandit lunged for Tomlin, snarling. Mira ducked, tripping him with a neat sweep. Aldrich's blade met another's, steel scraped, sparks scattering. Tomlin gripped the shard, feeling its magic surge. He swung wildly with a branch and missed, fear rising like bile, until a strange warmth flooded his limbs. Words bubbled to his tongue, unbidden. Saravalin! Light erupted from the shard, casting a shockwave that blasted two bandits off their feet. Mira stared at Tomlin, wide-eyed. "Since when could you do that?" Tomlin trembled. "I don't know. It just happened." Aldrich shielded them, sword raised, breathing hard. "Ancient magic, the old speech. You're no ordinary farmhand, Tomlin." The remaining bandits fled, spooked by sorcery. Silence fell, broken only by Tomlin's gasps. Mira clapped him on the back. "Whatever you are, farm boy, I like it. Talk about a wild card." Aldrich sheathed his sword, grave and watchful. "The power's awake. We need to move. Others, worse than these, will follow, and soon." Exhausted, shaken but alive, they hurried from the carnage, following the river east. The path would only grow harder, but now 3 fugitives, farmhand, knight, and thief, shared a secret hope. If Tomlin could wield the crown's magic, maybe, just maybe, they could do more than survive. Maybe they could save Aeloria. Dawn burned the horizon pink as the trio pressed onward, the air heavy with early fog. Their flight led them to the borders of the Elderwood, a forest whispered about in lullabies and drunken warnings. Branches wove thick overhead, blotting out the day, and strange birds trilled warnings from deep within the gloom. Tomlin rolled the shard between his fingers, the echo of last night's magic still tingling in his skin. "I never wanted this," he mumbled. "I just wanted to go home." Mira snickered and nudged him. "First lesson, adventure never asks your opinion, farm boy." Aldrich checked the path ahead, sword drawn. "We're heading east for a reason. My old master believed a second shard was hidden in the ruined Temple of Roots. If we can get to it first, we'll have a fighting chance." "And if someone already has?" Tomlin asked. Aldrich's voice was cold. "Then we pray they're friendlier than the last group." They slipped into the Elderwood. Around them trees twisted into grotesque shapes and the ground squelched with damp rot. The path narrowed until they walked single file. Every rustle made Tomlin jump. Mira alone seemed at ease, darting ahead and picking out hidden traps. Several hours in, Mirhavmanhop front. Aldrich signaled for silence. They crept forward until they saw it. The temple risen from tangled roots, half swallowed by earth and moss. In its shadow, a robed figure stood chanting, a glowing green shard hovering above her palm. Tomlin's breath caught. Another piece! Suddenly, vines snaked from the ground, lashing out at the trio. Tomlin's reflexes flared. He raised his shard and shouted words he barely understood. Light rippled, burning the vines away. The robed woman turned, eyes burning bright. "Children of the crown, you trespass at your peril." Mira drew her dagger. Aldrich stepped protectively in front of Tomlin. For the first time, Tomlin faced someone wielding the same unnatural power, only this time he had friends willing to fight by his side. The woman's green shard spun in the air, flooding the temple ruins with sickly light. "State your purpose, or be buried beneath these roots," she intoned, wind stirring her robes. Tomlin's voice wavered, but Mira squeezed his arm. "We're here for the same reason as you," Tomlin called, holding his blue shard aloft. "To reunite the crown before darkness swallows the realm," Mira added, shameless grin resurfacing, "and maybe save all our skins while we're at it." The woman's gaze flickered, uncertainty crossing her stern features. "Empty words. The crown gives power, but it also tempts ruin. My orders swore to destroy its fragments." She gave a sharp gesture. Roots snapped at Mira's ankles. Aldrich lunged, slicing the roots in one stroke. "Listen," he shouted. "If you destroy the shards, you doom us all. The darkness is rising. The crown's the only seal." Pain flashed in the woman's eyes. "You speak of what you do not know. My sister lost her mind to the crown's whispers." Mira cocked her head. "You'd rather see the world drown than risk using old magic?" Tomlin stepped forward, chest pounding. "I felt the crown's warnings. It's not just power, it's a choice. Let us try, please. Lend us your shard." The woman studied them a long, tense moment. Finally, she released a shuddering breath and floated the green shard to Tomlin. "Take it. But if the darkness claims you, I'll end your suffering myself. My name is Aeloria. I go with you. If the crown breaks us, at least we'll fall together." Tomlin nodded, awed and terrified. As the two shards buzzed in his hand, a hidden door beneath the temple yawned open, illuminated by their combined glow. The way forward would not be easy, but this newfound alliance was their only hope. Side by side, new and old allies descended into the dark unknown, carrying Aeloria's last chance deep into the haunted earth. The stone steps spiraled deep beneath the temple, the air thick with dust and a magic that hummed against their skin. Every step was a memory of the world above, fading as shadows swallowed them. Aeloria led, lantern-raised, shards now split between Tomlin's trembling hands. "Don't dawdle," she whispered. "These tunnels were built for ritual, not rescue." Mira trailed behind, eyes sharp for tricks or traps. "So where does this end?" Aldrich's voice echoed off the walls. "According to the old maps, these catacombs lead towards the sunken veil. If another shard is near, that's where we'll find it." As they moved, murals loomed, scenes of crowns raised and rulers falling. Tomlin shivered at paintings of night swallowing cities, and of a faceless figure clutching a whole shining crown. Suddenly a silver mist coiled along the floor. Mira cursed, stumbling as the world wavered and images filled their sight, visions of their deepest fears. Aldrich groaned, dropping his torch. Tomlin's heart seized. He saw the farm, ruined and empty, his mother calling out his name through a rain of ash. He tried to move but couldn't. "Don't believe it," Aeloria yelled over the ringing in their minds. "The crown's shards feed on pain." Tomlin dug deep, feeling the shard's heat grow within his fists. "We have to push through. We're stronger together." He squeezed the shards, calling on their light. The magic thrashed but steadied, the blue and green glows twining and pulsing outward. Shadows shrieked and peeled away. Aldrich gasped. "Not bad, lad." They stumbled on, Mira shivering but fierce. "Next time we go ghost hunting, let me run first." Finally, the tunnels dumped them into the open, low mist winding through the ruined columns of the sunken veil. A thunderous roar echoed nearby. Tomlin caught sight of golden sparks arcing overhead, an enormous serpent, scales glittering, coiled protectively around a third jagged crown shard. Aldrich brandished his sword. "May the old gods help us. That's no mere beast." Mira flashed a wild grin. "What's a story without a dragon?" Side by side, battered but undeterred, the party faced down both legend and fate, ready to fight for the next piece that could save or doom their world. The serpent uncoiled with a hiss that rattled the ancient columns. Its eyes blazed like embers as it jealously guarded the golden shard resting on a pile of shattered stone. Aeloria drew a protective circle with her staff, chanting wards under her breath. "Ideas, anyone?" Mira quipped, crouching low, her dagger ready but clearly uneasy. "Because running seems real smart right now." Tomlin behind a pillar, voice tight. "We need that shard." Aldrich, steady but pale, whispered, "The beast is old magic, likely bound to the crown. Words might win where swords can't." Tomlin took a shaky breath and stepped into the serpent's view, holding out the two shards. "We're not here to steal. We need your help. The crown's breaking the land. Please, let us try." The serpent's tongue flickered, tasting his honesty. For a heartbeat it almost seemed confused. Still it lunged, fast as lightning. Mira tackled Tomlin aside, barely dodging the massive jaws. Aeloria's wards flashed, buffering the worst of the impact, but the ground trembled under the strike. Aldrich sprang atop a fallen stone and shouted, "We honor the old ways! Grant passage, spirit!" The serpent paused, its eyes bored into Tomlin's. A voice thundered in his mind, raw and ancient. "Only the worthy may bear the crown. Prove your heart." Trembling, Tomlin faced the snake and his own self-doubt. "I'm frightened," he said aloud, "but I won't abandon my friends or my kingdom. I'll try, no matter the cost." The serpent's gaze softened. With a low rumble, it deposited the golden shard at Tomlin's feet. "Remember this courage. Many will falter, do not." As Tomlin scooped up the shard, 3 shards sang together, a harmonious, pulsing light. The serpent shimmered, scales dissolving into mist, leaving only silence. Aldrich clapped Tomlin on the back, pride clear in his eyes. "I've never seen a braver fool." Mira grinned wide. "One beast on our side? How many more lie ahead?" Aeloria touched Tomlin's shoulder, her voice softening. "You're not just gathering shards, Tomlin. You're gathering strength." As the shard's magic revealed a flickering vision, a scorched fortress to the north, the party steeled themselves for the next step in their journey. Bonded by trial and hope, they marched on, the stakes higher, the darkness deeper, and the legend of the shattered crown growing with each stride. Beneath a storm-churned sky, the companions traveled north, their path carved through mud and ashes. As they neared the scorched fortress shown in the serpent's vision, a suffocating hush settled. Even birds dared not sing. Torch in hand, Tomlin gazed up at blackened towers looming above. What happened here? Aeloria's face was grim. The Obsidian Keep fell to darkness first. Rumor says a rival warlord seized a shard here, and never emerged. Mira kicked a scorched helmet. Maybe whatever got him's still waiting inside. Aldrich sighed and squared his shoulders. Agreed. Stealth and speed. Mira shadows, Aeloria wards. Tomlin, be ready with the shards. Inside, ruin and shadow ruled. The walls seethed with flickering shapes. Fear gnawed with every echo. Halfway through the keep, a guttural laugh rang out. A hulking figure materialized from gloom, clad in twisted black mail, eyes glinting with cruel intelligence. In his fist blazed the fourth shard, dark purple and pulsing. Behind him, chained and battered, were prisoners, the last survivors of the keep. He sneered, voice like gravel. So Aeloria sends children now? How quaint! Aldrich stepped forward, steel in his gaze. We came for the shards, and for justice. Let the innocents go. The warlord's laugh turned into a growl. I answer to no crown, broken or whole. Wrong answer, Mira murmured, slinking into the shadows. Tomlin steadied himself, raising the 3 shards. Magic sparked, lashing out against the warlord's purple shard. It was like colliding storms. Pain shuddered up Tomlin's arm. But he gritted his teeth and pressed harder, channeling hope for the prisoners and his friends. Then Mira struck. In a blur, she slashed the warlord's leg, forcing him to drop the shard. Aeloria's wards flashed like lightning. Aldrich tackled him, pinning the brute down. Panting, Tomlin crawled on bloody palms and grabbed the purple shard, feeling its shadowy power now tamed by the courage blazing in his chest. The prisoners gasped as their chains clattered free, hope reigniting in their eyes. The 4 shards now thrum in Tomlin's grip like a heartbeat, stronger, surer, as if the land itself was waking. But as they turned to leave, a chilling wind swept down the ruined hall, carrying a voice not fully human. 4 shards bound, 3 remain, but darkness will not be denied. Mira grinned, a shiver in her smirk. Whoever that is, they're scared. We must be close. Shoulders squared, hearts aligned, the company pressed on. Only 3 shards remained, and the next fell beyond the edge of maps, where sunlight died and hope was hardest won. Ice scoured the world as the companions journeyed into the frost wastes, land of endless winter, where maps faded to empty paper. Wind howled like the voices of the lost. Every breath scraped their lungs raw. Clad in scavenged furs, Tomlin pressed onward, guided only by the pulses of the shards in his hands. Mira grumbled, huddling close to Tomlin. Next time, let's hunt relics somewhere warm. Aldrich's beard was rimmed with frost, but his eyes burned with undimmed resolve. We're close. Focus. Hours stretched. The sun never rose. At last a ruin emerged from the blizzard, a palace of ice, spires glittering in moonlight. A spectral silhouette waited atop the frozen steps, the 5th shard swirling in its palm, casting eerie blue shadows across endless drifts. Aeloria's voice trembled, torn between awe and dread. The Ice Regent, she was the Queen's most loyal mage, until the crown's shattering broke her mind. Tomlin stepped forward, shards raised. We've come to reunite the crown, to save Aeloria. Will you help us? The Ice Regent's eyes glittered. You seek to mend what you did not shatter. Are you prepared to pay the price? Tomlin swallowed. If someone must face the cost, let it be me. I can't turn back. Not after what we've done. Not after what I've learned. A moment's icy silence. Then, with emotion graceful and strange, the regent knelt and placed the 5th shard into Tomlin's outstretched hand. Carry my sorrow. Bring peace. The shard's magic flared, bathing the ruins in warm gold and cool blue. In that light, the Ice Regent's spirit faded, freed. A shudder ran through Tomlin. Not pain, but understanding. Strength deeper than muscle, forged by loss and hope alike. But as they turned to leave, the very ground cracked underfoot. Black tendrils of shadow bled up through the ice, and the sky ripped open. A monstrous presence, vast, ancient, and starless, howled from the heart of the blizzard. The 6th and 7th shards, twin beacons of crimson, blazed defiantly in the darkness's grip. Mira drew both daggers, voice steady even as her eyes widened. Looks like the final battle starts now. Aldrich nodded, battered sword ready. We end this together, no matter what. Aeloria whispered a prayer, her staff glowing. Tomlin, the frightened farmhand who once only dreamed of adventure, gripped the 5 shards, courage reforged in struggle and friendship. As the darkness closed in, they stood at the threshold of the world's fate, knowing that all their choices led to this moment, the greatest test still to come. The darkness surged, roaring like an ocean unleashed, spilling over the ruins in waves of cold and dread. In its turbulent heart, two shards shimmered, crimson as blood, gripped tight by spectral claws of the shadow entity that had haunted Aeloria for centuries. The fate of the land teetered on a knife's edge. Aldrich planted his feet, shield raised, daring the dark. "You will not take us." Mira darted forward, bobbing and weaving through shadow, her daggers slicing through tendrils that tried to seize her. Aeloria unleashed a storm of searing light, pushing back the gloom even as it threatened to consume her from within. Tomlin felt the 5 shards in his hands ignite, each a note in a song of hope and sacrifice. But the shadow entity laughed, its voice rattling the air. "You think you can reforge what was sundered? Mortal hearts crack far faster than magic ever could." Tomlin stumbled but straightened, staring into its formless eyes. "We are more than fear. We are more than broken pieces. We have become whole." As the shards pulsed, he felt Aldrich's resolve, Mira's daring, Alira's calm, and his own trembling hope surge through him. Together they stepped forward, each pressing a palm to the 5 reunited shards. They reached for the remaining 2, pushing magic and trust outward. The shadows thrashed, howling. Mira's grip didn't waver. "I've stolen for gold, but today I steal for tomorrow." Aelira chanted, her voice rising. "We are the seal, the shield, the hope." Aldrich slammed his shield against the ground. "We do not yield." Tomlin spoke the ancient words, but this time not alone. All their voices rang out, drawing the shards together, light spearing through darkness. The crimson shards tore free from the entity, streaking into Tomlin's grip. Agony and joy fused as the Starforge Crown, whole at last, blazed with a brilliance not seen in an age. The darkness screeched, unraveling in the new dawn's fire. Power radiated from the reforged crown, purging corruption from the frost wastes to the burning fields of Aeloria. As the dust settled, Tomlin slumped to his knees, the crown hovering above him. Mira helped him up, grinning tiredly. "Farm boy, you just saved the world." Aldrich bowed, a new respect in his eyes. Aelira smiled through tears. "The land will sing of this day, of how the smallest hands closed the widest wounds." Tomlin looked around at his friends and then to the horizon, where the sun rose for the first time in ages. "We put Aeloria back together. Now we rebuild it. Together." And so, with the Starforge Crown restored and the darkness driven out, hope returned. The bonds forged in desperation became legends whispered by firesides for generations. In the heart of chaos, the unlikeliest heroes proved the world could be mended, not by power, but by courage, love, and unity.